Hey you, I'm Dash. This is Vicky. And we have some things to cook today. So, first things first, it's almost 3:30 in the morning on Easter Sunday. And I have a couple cooks I need to get done. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna break my cooks up today. And I'm gonna do my brisket. I'm starting my briskets now. I have 2 briskets I need to do. Later, I have 30 wings I need to do, and then I have 3 racks of ribs I need to do. So, the ribs and the chicken are not going to take as long as the brisket is going to take to cook. So I'm going to go ahead and get my briskets in the smoker in Vicky. For right now, I'll be back in about 3 or 4 hours, depending on when I wake up from my nap. And we'll get the chicken and the ribs loaded. We'll get the brisket taken out, and we'll finish the brisket in the house. So let's get loading.
Hey yo, this is Dash. Get ready.
Alright, so one of the other things about the smoker is there is a water pan down at the bottom. I do have it filled with about 6-7 gallons of water for right now. And we're just gonna get the smoker loaded. Now, like I said, the heat comes from the top on the smoker. So like I said, the heat comes from the top on the smoker down. So what I end up doing, or what I always do, is I put the bigger pieces of meat, as far as a brisket, or when I'm cooking briskets, I put the bigger pieces of meat higher up in the smoker for that reason. So of the 2 briskets I have, this is the smaller one. This brisket was about, I think it was about 12, 13 pounds. And this brisket was almost 15. So the heat comes up and over this way. So I'm gonna put the thicker piece of the meat on the hot side of the smoker. Now I have the thermometer on the rack, on that top rack, just so I can make sure that it doesn't get too hot in there. But other than that, I'm really not worried about temperatures. A little chilly outside. I'm really not worried about the temperature at the brisket. I will check it, like I said, in about 3-4 hours, and I'll see where it's at. If it's at 150 degrees, so be it. If it's at 160 degrees, so be it. I'm on a timetable today where I need to get the briskets done, and I want them done in 8 hours. So those of you guys who say you can't do it that fast, I beg to differ. I'm gonna keep them in the smoker at about 250, 275 degrees. Once they have their 4 hours, 5 hours at the absolute most smoke on them, I'm gonna go ahead and take them in the house, get them wrapped up, finish them in the oven at 300 degrees where I can control the temperature and monitor those briskets, the temperatures on the briskets way more closely. Then I'll get the chicken and the ribs brought out here, and I will get the chicken and the ribs done. They should finish in here. The chicken is probably gonna finish before the ribs. Once the chicken finishes, I'll probably pull the ribs, take them in the house, let them finish in the oven. Those of you guys who miss Vicky, here she is. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a few hours.
1 nap later.
All right, so I'm back out of the smoker, and I'm dressed a little more appropriately because it's cold outside. It's still like actually, let's see. It's not giving me an accurate temperature because it was sitting on the side of Vicky, so she's running a little hot. It's saying it's almost 60 degrees in here, and I can tell you it's not. But I'm gonna tempt the briskets because I know that they are going to be a little under temperature as far as what most people will pull them off the smoker at, but it has been 4 hours. One of the things that with Vicky, because I went in the house and was able to lay down, take a little bit of a nap, I kind of overslept a little bit and I wasn't really monitoring the thermometer so much. The temperature dropped down a little lower than I would like it to. When I woke up, it was sitting at about 260 degrees. Like I said, I would have preferred the temperature been up a little higher, closer to 275, which would have helped prolong this cook. But nonetheless, let's see where the temperature is. And hopefully you guys can't see that, but I'm gonna pull the brisket out. For the briskets out, and they are coming along quite nicely. This brisket is gonna be the one that I'm gonna slice up for, I have a couple orders, and we're sitting at about 150 degrees, which is fine. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it and take it in the house and finish it in the house. And the one at the top, we're at 160 degrees just about. So again, 4 hours, right on time. And had I switched these two briskets in at about the 2 hour mark, because this shelf is higher, or yeah, higher than this shelf and cooks a little bit faster, then I would have probably been at about the same exact temperature. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this taken care of. I'll see you guys in a bit. Well, I'll bring you back once I'm finished taking these out and I have the chicken and the ribs to go in.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
All right, so you saw me get the smoker loaded up. I have Vicky, not to capacity here, but we have Vicky loaded, and I put the wings up top, wings on the second shelf, so 1, 2, and the ribs on shelf 3. Now what I'm gonna do is, because of the fact that I have these wings up here on the top shelf, I'm gonna try and monitor the temperature, make sure it doesn't get too hot in here, but I know that the top shelf is running warmer than this middle shelf where I have the probe. That being said, what I'm going to do, in an hour, I'm going to switch these two shelves, because that's pretty much all it'll take to try and keep them at about the same temperature, cooking-wise. All right, I'll be back in about an hour. All right, so I'm back outside. It's been an hour, and unfortunately, I turned the alarm off on the low temperature for the thermometer, and I didn't realize it, but the smoker has been sitting at about 170 degrees. This is just not my day. So what I'm gonna do now is make sure that there's enough charcoal in here, and it looks like we need some. So I'm gonna add some wood as well. Now, had I been paying attention, I would have seen that the temperature didn't recover after I loaded the smoker with the food. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this started, and when I say get it started, you guys can't see. I'm gonna go ahead and get my torch, because of the fact that the charcoal is lit down at the bottom. I'm going to just go ahead and get this charcoal lit like if I was starting a fire, you know, from scratch. And before you ask, no, I haven't fixed the door on the smoker yet. Get it pushed back in the smoker so I don't have to do it once the fire really gets raring. So today, I'm just using charcoal briquettes. I'm not using any lump charcoal, just because what I have right here, that was closest, that's all. I do have some lump on the other side of the garage, but I just didn't get it again. I just picked up what was closest. So I'm actually going to sit here with this on for a little bit longer than I normally would, so that I can help get this fire, help kickstart this fire, because I really want it to hurry up, to be honest. Well, not want it, I need it to hurry up at this point. I'm almost pretty much an hour behind schedule. Now the one good thing about chicken wings is there's nothing else to do to them. I don't have to do any slicing or cutting or anything like that, so they can be pretty much sent out the door while they're still hot. So as soon as as long as I can get them done. Now I need to have these done today by 1 o'clock. It is 10 o'clock. That gives me, what, 3 hours? They'll be done in that time. But I would have liked to have a little bit more leeway, a little bit more cushion while getting this done. The ribs though, I am behind the 8 ball. So what I'm gonna end up having to do is hopefully I can get the temperature up in here, and I will accelerate the cook just a little bit. Now when I normally start the grill or start the smoker, I usually just start one small little portion to get the charcoal going, and then I let it slow burn so the temperature comes up slowly. But because of the fact that I need the temperature up a little higher, faster, that's why I'm standing here and making sure that almost the entire end of the charcoal is lit before I go back in the house. All right, another hour has gone by, and I'm actually going to throttle this back a little bit. The temperature of the temperature on the second rack right now is sitting at about 330 degrees. Whoop, sitting at about 330 degrees. So we're going to bring that down, even though it's chicken, and it'll be fine if I let the chicken cook at that temperature. I just kind of want to slow things down just a touch. So what I'm going to do is get the thermometer, move it off to the side, temperature probe, move it off to the side for a moment while I move this chicken around. And you can see the chicken is looking pretty darn good right now. Let's get you guys in a little closer. Alright, so here's the chicken that was up on the top rack, and you can see some of those tips are a little bit burnt there. So this is why we're going to move some things around. Alright, so here's one of the beautiful things about the way this cooker cooks. I just checked on a hunch after looking at the wings that were up top. I checked the temperature on these guys, and these guys are done. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to sauce them, flip them over, and let the wings that are here on the second shelf hang out for about a half an hour, but they're pretty much done. By the time that half an hour passes, I'm hoping that the wings up at the top will be done. They are sitting at about 165, 170 degrees. Those of you guys who watch my channel for long enough know I actually prefer to take my chicken wings to about 175, almost 180 degrees, just because that makes sure that there's no pink at all in the middle. They are so very tender, and they kind of tear apart, fall apart. Not to the point where they're overdone, but just to the point where they're no longer gooky. Hopefully you understand what I mean. I'm gonna check on the ribs once I get the wings done. I'm probably gonna go ahead and sauce the ribs as well at this point, but I'll see you guys once that's done. Alright, so before I go ahead and sauce the wings, and I'm going to let the ribs stay on a little while longer because of the fact that they are lower in the smoker. I haven't gotten any pullback or anything yet, so not ready to sauce these guys just yet. But I am going to get the chicken taken care of. Once I get the chicken taken care of, I'll most likely take the ribs and move them up in the smoker so they can get a little more heat. Alright? Now, I'll see you guys when I'm done.
A little later.
Alright guys, I'm back out at the smoker. Chicken wings are done. Like I said, I gave them it was about 45 minutes I gave them. I know they're done. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the wings out of here. Now, one of the things, because this cook is not dragging on, but the cook has been going on for a while, and I didn't fill the water pan up. My water is actually empty. That being said, I'm getting a lot of burnt grease, so I gotta either get some more water, or I might just have to take these ribs out of here and let them finish in the house. But I need them to stay in here for about another, well, I need one of the racks to stay in here for about another hour. So, one of them is my buddy. So, all right. My friend who likes his ribs unsauced is getting ribs. I kind of forgot about it and have a little bit of sauce dripping from the chicken on his ribs. It'll be okay. He just likes less sauce, so he'll be all right with that. The other ribs, I am going to sauce those ribs. The one that has the most sauce on it, which seems to be this one. So I'm going to sauce those ribs, and I'll leave them in here for a while. I want some pullback on those bones. Like I said, probably another hour. And then I'll just finish them in the house. I don't have to come back out here. Now, I'm going to get the thermometer out of the way. And let's get these wings off. Now, 30 of these wings are for a customer. The other wings, there ended up being 42 wings total. The other wings are gonna just be for us and my house. So let's get them off. Wings done. Once the cook is done, I'll get these racks cleaned off. But for now, I'm just gonna move the ribs up in the smoker. Let's get a better position. There we go. Get them moved up in the smoker. I'll see y'all when I come back to these ribs.
1 hour later.
All right, I'm back out at the smoker. It is almost noon, and I need to go ahead and get these ribs out of here. Again, I'm on a timetable. I have, well, time crunch. I'm sure. I told the people who are ready to come and get their food that they will be done at 1 o'clock. It is noon, so now we're gonna go ahead and finish these things up in the house. So now, I told you guys that I'm going to be, 2 of these racks are going to a friend of mine, and he does not want sauce on his ribs. So I'm going to go ahead and get those off to the side and get those wrapped up first. Now for this rack, because of the fact that I only have a single rack and it's not going to be sauced, what I'm going to do is cut it in half and put it into a half catering pan. Come in here, straight down. When you get down to the bottom, you kind of just have to kick the knife and then it'll go through the ribs. Notice I didn't turn them upside down. Every now and then, I kind of forget to finish out the cook. Well, let me just tell you guys what happened. The ribs finished in the oven just fine. The briskets finished just fine. I was able to slice them up. Everything worked out. Everything was taken care of. That first delivery, the lady came at about 1:30. So I knew she was gonna be here close to 1 o'clock. I talked about it in one of the, I think I talked about it in one of the clips. She was here right after 1:30. Everything went off without a hitch. The briskets were done, the ribs were done, the wings were done. And I'm sorry that I don't have any finished clips or finishing clips. Every now and again it happens where I just kind of get tied up and put my head down and get the work done, and I didn't get one finished for you. So unfortunately, roll the outro.
More water, baby.
Thank you guys again as always for watching. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. If you like what you saw today, if you learned something, please leave me a comment and a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to turn that notification bell on so you can be notified whenever one of these videos goes live. Speaking of live, I go live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. 2 hours. First hour we talk about barbecue and or something barbecue business related. Second hour we kind of shoot the breeze, talk amongst friends. Make sure you bring a cool refreshment with you. Anyway, thanks again as always for watching. I'll see you next time.